Hello everybody, and welcome once again to another lesson brought to you by yours truly, Daniel Jones, lead educator and headmaster of MagicSchool2012.com, Magic School 2012's online website. Today, I am here to talk to you about Alternative Wicca 1. Now, there are many versions of what we would call alternative Wicca. It all depends on who you are, where you come from, and what you believe. Now, in this particular instance, when we're discussing alternative Wicca for this particular class, we are going to be discussing alternative Wicca in the forms of gay and lesbians practicing magic. Now, this book, Gay Witchcraft, Empowering the Tribe by Christopher Penczak, is a pretty informative book. I will read to you real quick what it says on the back cover. Now it says, Witchcraft, Gay Studies. Gay Witchcraft is a smart, soulful, and inspiring introduction to witchcraft that speaks to the unique needs and gifts of the gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgendered person. It is a valuable contribution to a very important and growing part of the witchcraft community. But because it is a book with insight into the difficult journey of self-discovery and spiritual empowerment, any reader, gay or straight, will find it a rich resource. Book of Shadows and Witchcrafting, Phyllis Currit, priestess and author of the best-selling Book of Shadows and Witchcrafting. Jason Newcomb, author of 21st Century Mage, says it's a fascinating survey of the craft from a uniquely gay perspective. And Eileen Holland, author of The Wicca Handbook and co-author with Cerelia of A Witch's Book of Answers, says this is an important book, one that will help many people. I recommend it to all witches, gay or straight. Gay Witchcraft is a complete manual of witchcraft for the gay community, revealing a path that is intimately entwined with both the heart and history of gay people. For both the novice and experienced practitioner seeking out new views of myth, ritual, and healing, Christopher Penczak takes you step by step through dozens of meditations, rituals, spells, and celebrations, awakening the love of the goddess and God in you. In many ways, this book could be considered a basic manual for anyone seeking to learn about Wicca, but Gay Witchcraft brings together aspects of both identities and a new alchemy. After trying these meditations and rituals, you may reclaim the title of witch for yourself, or you may simply find witchcraft as a stepping stone for your own path, taking what serves you and building your own tradition. Now, we're going to discuss a little bit about the first parts of this book together as a group today, or on this video. The first thing we are going to go over, the importance of studying Wicca as a homosexual man or a lesbian woman. Now, I myself am a homosexual man. I have been out of the closet for the last 7 years or so. When I came out to my parents, they had no problem with who I was and what I was. Before that, I was a practicing Wiccan. I have been I started out as a witch. I started reading things, and I will even go so far as to say I read Harry Potter when I was 11 years old. It wasn't just that, it was all the books that were just starting to become really popular. I had the Witch's Book of 5,000 Spells by Llewellyn, whoever she is. I had several copies of different forms of magical papyri. I I had the Egyptian Book of the Dead. I had several things that were able to teach me at a very young age about being a witch or a Wiccan or a Wicca or whatever you want to call it. And it was not until I turned about 14 years old, 13 or 14, where I really embraced the fact that I was also a homosexual, or I might be a homosexual. I finally came out of the closet when I was 16 years old, and from that point on, I started utilizing Wicca in my everyday life, also in concerns with the fact that I am a homosexual. You know, when people would make fun of me or talk down to me because I'm gay, I would sit and I would meditate about it, or I would come up with a spell or a charm or something that would help me either feel better about myself if I couldn't do that on my own, or I would come up with something that would help me get back at the person who was talking down to me. Now, later in life, I have learned that the getting back at the person is not always the best idea, because they are just ignorant. They don't understand what they're talking about. They've been raised into a society that allows people to digress and treat peoples who are different in a manner that is just simply shouldn't be acceptable in a normal society, but is in the society that we live in today. Let's face it, people, we're dealing with demons here. Our world has become possessed by them, and it's become darkened and sodden and ruined, and it's just something that we have to deal with. Being a homosexual man, as well as a witch and a Wiccan, when the end times come, if they do, I will be more than prepared to defend myself, as well as the ones that I love, and as many people that I can pull into me as possible, witches and mortals alike. We're going to come to a point where we're going to have to learn how to fight against these evil things, and we're not going to be able to do it with guns and bombs, because they're not going to be there. Either they're not going to be available, or the government is just simply going to lose control of all of that. And we're not going to be able to fight off all of this evil with bombs and guns and knives and what we're normally used to. I mean, we'll have blades, but we're going to need as many types of people as we can get to help us. Gay, black, woman, transgendered, alien. It doesn't matter. If you practice the craft, practice it. Don't let people talk down to you. Learn how to integrate both your sexuality with your practice, and go from there. Now, in this book, Gay Witchcraft Empowering the Tribe, at the beginning there is a table of contents, and it spans about 3 pages, and after the table of contents is a list of exercises which can be found on Roman numerical page 8. Now, there's a list of exercises here, and it goes 1 through 16. And according to the book, these are subdivided into the chapters. Now, we will be going over each of these exercises as we go through the course. Now, I'm going to go through them real quick, one by one, just so we can kind of get a feel for what's going to be going on. Don't forget, if you're going to take this course, I would advise you to purchase this particular book. If you don't, I'm going to do my best to provide copies of pages, or I will read to you what is on the page, and I will ask for your patience, and as well, I will ask for you to copy down or to replay videos as much as you have to, and then submit your work. Always bearing in mind that there will be blank spaces next to the videos with instructions on top of the spaces as to how to submit each piece of work. Each submission form is a homework piece. So if you read correctly and navigate correctly, you should be able to find what you're doing with your homework fairly easy. Now, list of exercises. Number 1. Basic meditation technique. Now, this is going to be located on page 60, and we'll get to that as we go, as well as the rest of these, so I'm just going to read them off. Exercise number 2 is the God and Goddess meditation, which can be found on page 68. Number 3 is the Meeting Your Power Animal exercise, which can be found on page 84. Number 4 is the Chakra Tree Meditation exercise, which can be found on page 100. Number 5, Casting the Circle and Creating Sacred Space exercise, which can be found on page 114. Number 6, the Invocation exercises, which can be found on page 120. Number 7, an exercise to teach you to cast a spell, on page 147. Number 8, a love ritual exercise, which can be found on page 157. Number 9, sex as worship and celebration exercises, or discussions, on page 178. Number 10, sacred sexuality exploration alone. Exercises in this area reside on page 181. The locking technique for men exercise can also be found on page 181. The soul-bearing exercise can be found on page 182. Number 13, the shower of light exercise can be found on page 183. Number 14, reclaiming lost power exercise can be found on page 188. Number 15, the sending light exercise can be found on page 201. And last but not least, number 16, the energy healing method exercise can be found on page 203. Now, since we've gone over the list of exercises, we will be focusing in on specific ones as we go through the course. I will indicate these to you as we go, and we will have special projects or lessons devoted to them. Now, there is another list that we must discuss real quick, and then I'll be moving on, and that is the list of charms, potions, spells, and rituals, which can be found on page Roman numerical page 9, IX, of Gay Witchcraft, Empowering the Tribe. Now, I'm going to go through these real quick. I'm going to read a couple of page numbers with the rituals, but not all of them, just to make it quicker. So here we go. And also, we will be focusing in on specific charms, potions, spells, or rituals that are in this list, according to the list of exercises on 1 through 16, pages 60 through 203, because there will be specific rituals that go with specific exercises. So, here we go. Ritual Purification Bath, found on page 98. Protection Charm, Prosperity Charm, Health Charm, found on page 144. Protection Potion, found on page 145. Psychic Potion, found on page 146. An Open Love Spell, a Specific Person Love Spell. Love Potion, Love Charm, Spell for Self-Love. Healing the Heart Bath, found on page 162. Rose Life Mate Spell, found on page 165. Spell to Rekindle a Passion, found on page 167. Lush Charm, Spell to Improve Sexual Performance. Spell to Release Guilt. Healing Potion, How to Make and Use a Healing Poppet, found on page 211. Also, Spell to Cleanse the Spiritual Bodies can be found on page 211. Spell to Heal Addictions, page 213. Spell to Heal Homophobia for the not-so-friendly friends and neighbors, page 214. Ritual to Release Past Abuse, page 216. Summer Solstice Ritual, Samhain Celebration, Coming Out Ritual, Initiation Ritual, the hand fasting ritual found on page 244, the dissolution ritual found on page 248, a ritual for exploring heterosexuality, ritual to celebrate elderhood, and a funerary ritual, the last ritual on the list, found on page 254. Now, again, we will be going through each of those rituals and exercises as we go through the lesson. I will be discussing the importance of each one with you all, and we will discuss why we will be using them as well. Now, notes to the reader. All of the charms, potions, and other magical formulas in this book are for external use only. Some of the formulas include essential oils and herbs. The reader should take care to use the proper ingredients and methods as advised by the author. Some individuals may have a sensitivity or allergic reaction to certain ingredients, and they should consult with a professional before using or substituting such ingredients. The author and publisher are not responsible for any adverse effects or consequences resulting from the reader's use of the formulas or procedures in this book improperly. That also goes for Magic School 2012 and all of its staff members and associates. We are not responsible for the improper use of charms, potions, spells, or rituals in concerns with you all, the students. We give you specific instructions. The elementary base learning program of this school is just simply theoretical. There may be one or two potions or spells that we give you to practice, but they're not going to be anything too serious that we don't think you can handle. Now, if you decide as an elementary level student, because intermediate and advanced level students will be practicing more intermediate and advanced level potions, spells, rituals, and practices, as an elementary level student here at Magic School 2012, if you should choose to stray from the set curriculum of learning, then it is on you the effects that you incur with personal gain, the threefold law, so on and so forth. Always remember, as an elementary level student, you are here because you are not exactly sure what you are doing or what you want to do. So leave it up to us to help you figure it out. If you have any questions, there are ways infinity to contact me, the headmaster, Daniel Jones, at magicschool2012.com. That's MAGICKSCHOOL2012.com. Again, magicschool2012.com is not responsible for any misadventures that you may incur while straying from our recommended learning path. Now, during the next lesson, I will go ahead and read the introduction with you, and we will also go over Part 1, History and Mythology in Gay Witchcraft Empowering the Tribe. Now, we're almost at our 20-minute mark as it stands. We're at 19 minutes now. So what I want to do is I want to take a minute, and I want to thank all of the students who are currently enrolled with Magic School 2012. I do realize that over the last year, I have been slightly lacking when it comes to uploading the necessary class material and all of that. I've acquired a new web address, which I have affixed to Magic School 2012, so we are officially our own website now. We are still hosted through webs.com, but you do not have to go to magicschool2012.webs.com anymore to find us. You just simply go to www.magicschool2012.com. Again, that's www.magicschool2012.com, online to locate us. You can register and enroll at the top left hand of the homepage. Instructions for new enrollee students as well as new applying educators or staff members can be found at the bottom of the homepage at magicschool2012.com. Magicschool2012.com offers a wide variety of communication methods. We have forums, we have news pages, we have a chat page, we have email available directly to me, the headmaster. That way I am able to communicate with the students and the educators directly. So anybody who has a question, please feel free. Or if you're interested in enrolling or applying as a student or an educator, just do as I've said and go to www.magicschool2012.com at the top left side of the homepage. Now, last but not least, everybody, let's real quick. We are at the 20-minute mark, so I will go ahead and go over the homework for this first lesson. What I want everybody to do is I want everybody to write one 5-paragraph essay. Now, there will be a submittable area next to this video on the elementary class lessons page that will be specifically for lesson number 1 for the 5-paragraph essay. What I want you to do is I want you to write and then or just submit a 5-paragraph essay on how you think it would feel to not only be a homosexual or lesbian if you aren't, but also how it would feel to be a practitioner of the craft at the same time, and how you think you would handle that on a personal level. Again, one 5-paragraph essay submitted before the airing of the next lesson on how you think it would feel to not only be a homosexual or a lesbian if you're not, but also how it would feel to be a practitioner of the craft at the same time, and how you think you would handle that on a personal level. Alright, everybody, that concludes the first lesson of Alternative Wicca 1 class, brought to you by yours truly, Daniel Jones, lead educator and headmaster at magicschool2012.com on the web. I hope you all enjoyed as usual, and again, I hope to see you all soon for another fun-filled lesson brought to you by yours truly, Daniel Jones, at Magic School 2012. Thank you all very much, and have a wonderful day. Blessed be.